So thanks for stopping by Minnesota Black RobeRegiment channel yet again. This video today is going to be addressing something very specific in another video that I recently released, went a little viral, and I didn't focus on this particular aspect too much because I felt like it was deserving of its own briefer discussion. So on February 3rd, 2021, my friend Lisa Hansen, the owner and proprietor of the Interchange Coffee and Wine Bistro in Albert Lea, Minnesota, went to the county courthouse to drop off legal paperwork for criminal charges that she's facing at the hands of Kelly Martinez, the city attorney of Albert Lea. She went to the courthouse, had no issues there. She wore a facial covering. She conducted her business, no problem. She had made numerous attempts throughout the day to schedule an appointment to drop off paperwork at the city attorney's office in the city hall of Albert Lea, and was ignored. It's blatantly ignored. There's no way in the world you can call it anything other than being ignored. She finally was able to gain access lawfully to the building, which is her, well, she had a duty to do that because she had paperwork that needed to be turned into the city attorney so that the city attorney would have time to go through that paperwork before court the next day. And Lisa had an obligation, was under counsel to make sure that paperwork was delivered. Many of you watched that video. Many of you have interacted with that video. Some of you have taken great exception with some of what I have said there. But what we haven't really focused on is what really happened at the end of the video, towards the end of the video. And what that was, or is, or should we say, what transpired there was the clear use of the city attorney's panic button, panic alarm there in the office. Now, I'm going to show just a little bit before that button was pushed, and then I'm going to show an outtake of a conversation that took place after the button was pushed.
I tried to schedule an appointment today and I didn't get a return call, so.
It's been a very busy day with court and other hearings, so I would ask you and you get an appointment, we'll do that. And I know my list of call for an appointment, I will do that.
This is a document that you're going to want before tomorrow's arraignment.
That's fine, we're happy to have you give us a document. It says on that shirt that you're not wearing a mask. We do have a mask mandate in city buildings.
And just remember, Lisa Hansen was wearing her face shield when she came in. Lisa Williamson was not. Lisa Williamson went a protracted well over 5 minutes, closer to 10 minutes without wearing her facial covering and had this door open. Okay, let's remember that.
So why wasn't Lisa Williamson wearing a mask when I entered?
Because she's sitting here by herself.
I'm standing here by myself.
She walked over to Kelly Martinez's office without a mask on.
She entered your office as well without a mask, just stating the truth here.
I am going to tell you, you can leave the paper there and you may have to.
Okay, I'll be calling.
I'm going to tell you, you may leave the paper there and exit the building. Now watch, this is the part we're going to really focus on here.
I'm going to stay here in the office. I'm going to go ahead and reach out to law enforcement.
Did you see that right there? Kelly just motioned for Lisa Williamson to push the button. Let's go back and watch that again.
She walked over to Kelly Martinez's office without a mask on.
She entered your office as well without a mask, just stating the truth here.
I am going to tell you, you can leave the paper there and you may have to.
Okay, I'll be calling. I'm going to stay here in the office. I'm going to go ahead and reach out to law enforcement.
Lisa Hansen and her entourage, the two of them, are not a threat, okay? Not a threat. They're just not obeying Kelly Martinez. Watch this one more time. Watch Kelly right here very closely. Watch what she motions to Lisa Williamson to do.
Enforcement.
She just told her to push the button. She just told her to push the button. Lisa has pushed the button at this point. Now listen to Lisa Williamson.
They can come and deliver it then.
Don't worry, they're on the way.
Don't worry, they're on the way. That's sarcasm and that's snark. Lisa Williamson knows what she did. Kelly Martinez knows what she did. Now, I'm going to jump forward here.
Just trying to abide by the law here. They're very busy and I need to make an appointment.
Now,
Hello. Hey there.
Oh, it's the police department, what's going on?
Lisa's on the phone with the sheriff right now.
Okay.
I've got you on speakerphone. Sure. I'm happy to. It just needs to get to.
I want to go back now just a second. Right now, the camera, the video is trained on Lisa here, right? He's got the video. I would imagine it's a cell phone. He's got the cell phone pointed at Lisa. Now, keep in mind, a panic button was just pushed. A panic button, panic alarm, indicating that there's a danger or a threat in the city attorney's office, correct? That's what they do. That's what they're for. This is for somebody coming in, shooting this building up. That's what that's about, or threatening to do something. No one's done that here. Now imagine, here comes the first officer into the building. Lisa's son turns with the camera. Panic button's been pushed. They're under the impression that there's danger. What could have very easily have happened here?
They're very busy and I need to make an appointment.
Bang. He turns. That officer perceives a threat because he's already on edge. Very easily could have pulled a gun and seriously wounded or killed young Mr. Hansen. Now, that did not happen. Credit to the Albert Lea PD. Here is the problem. This situation was not caused by Lisa Hansen. This situation was caused by Kelly Martinez giving a direct directions to Lisa Williamson to push the panic button when there was no emergency. No emergency. Now, do we know that for a fact? One, we do know that for a fact because Kelly indicated, go ahead, do your thing. Lisa did her thing. Lisa Williamson did her thing. Then she very, very snarkily said, oh, don't worry, they're on their way. And
Oh, hey there.
these people,
Oh, it's the police
these
department. What's
officers
going on?
all show up.
Lisa's on the phone with the sheriff right now.
Okay.
I've got you on speakerphone. Sure. I'm happy to. It just needs to get to the city attorney, that's all. So I'll see if the police department will take her for me. Yeah.
Now watch
I just
this.
didn't want to leave
We've done
it
this
on
before.
the-
You guys,
Look at all of these people coming in,
Hey.
right? Now we're gonna skip all of the other stuff, and we're gonna come up here to the end. Look at all those squads. They came in balls to the wall. They came in barreling in, and a county squad from Freeborn County is going to pull through as well. Why? And how do we know they came in like that? Because you got parked up on the curb, parked kind of all cockeyed towards on the sidewalk. They came in expecting trouble. They came in expecting trouble. Why? Well, we know why, and we'll find out here in just a second.
Got several police vehicles. They've been very good to us.
Did we really apply for all this?
Well, no, we didn't. No,
There's 5 squad cars here,
no.
and there was like 5 or 6 of you in
I
seven.
don't know if someone accidentally hit the panic alarm, but that's what I heard.
Did somebody hit the panic alarm?
Could have been.
Yeah.
So,
That was not an accidental panic alarm push, all right? Wasn't accidental. We know that. Everybody watching this video knows that. Now, why am I making a big deal out of this? Right. Here we have Kelly Martinez. Educated. Representative of the city of Albert Lea. Chief law enforcement officer for the city of Albert Lea, in that she prosecutes crimes, right? She's going after Lisa Hanson like nobody's business. She is ready to take Lisa Hanson down for being public enemy number one. I mean, they're trying to kick her out of the building that she's in because the city leases it. They're charging her with being a public nuisance. They're charging her with 8 different violations of the governor's executive orders, on and on and on and on and on, right? Well, Kelly Martinez, what does the law say about you? What does the law say about you, Kelly Martinez? Do you get to do that? No, you don't. Well, let's take a look. How do I know you don't get to do that? Here's why. Minnesota State Statute 609.776, or excuse me, 609.78, emergency telephone calls and communications. Here is a misdemeanor offense. This is subdivision 1. Whoever does the following is guilty of a misdemeanor. Makes a call for emergency, police, fire, medical, or ambulance service, knowing that no police, fire, or medical emergency exists. So, well, what about subdivision 2? Gross misdemeanor offenses. What do we have here? Places an emergency call and reports a fictitious emergency with the intent of promoting an emergency response by law enforcement, fire, or emergency medical services personnel. Gee, Kelly Martinez, did you not just direct Lisa Williamson, who willfully complied with your directive, to report a fictitious emergency with the intent of prompting an emergency response by law enforcement, fire, or emergency medical services personnel? That's sure what you did. You're guilty here. And this isn't one of those guilty until, or innocent until proven guilty. We've got it on video. You jeopardized the lives of 3 of the citizens. Like, clearly jeopardized the lives of 3 of your citizens. Lisa Hanson, her son, and her personal assistant. You jeopardized their lives, Kelly Martinez. You knew what you were doing. But wait a minute. You're saying to yourselves, well, TC, how on earth can you consider this to be a call? That's not a call. Well, let's see how we define this. Subdivision 3 gives us our definitions. Except as provided in paragraph B, for purposes of this section, emergency call means a 911 call, or any call for emergency medical or ambulance services, or any call for assistance from police or fire department, or for other assistance needed in an emergency to avoid serious harm to person or property. So, you, Kelly Martinez, city attorney of Albert Lea, who should know the law better than everybody else, who is prosecuting Lisa Hanson for being a public nuisance. And here, let's take a quick look at that, shall we? Let's see. Please take notice. The city of Albert Lea has reason to believe Melissa Hanson, owner of MLH Enterprises, doing business as an interchange wine and coffee bistro, is maintaining or permitting the following public nuisance as defined by Minnesota State Statute 617.81, Subdivision 2, at 211 South Broadway, Albert Lea, Freeborn County, Minnesota. Acts which unreasonable injuries or endangers, or unreasonable injures or dangers. This is not very professional, Kelly Martinez. Acts which unreasonable injures or dangers the safety and health of a considerable number of people in violation of Minnesota State Statute 609.74, Subdivision 2, specifically ignoring the public health risks posed by the COOF by providing on-premises consumption of food and beverages, allowing the public to enter the establishment Okay. Kelly Martinez and Lisa Williamson, you colluded to call via a panic alarm the Albert Lee City Police. That call not only brought in numerous police officers, taking them away from their prescribed rounds for the day, doing that which they were hired to do, you also elicited a response from Freeborn County Sheriff's Office, further bringing in yet another needless response to the City Hall of Albert Lee, when you knew that Lisa Hansen, her son, and her personal assistant posed no immediate threat to you or to the building. None. You are supposed to be a law enforcement individual, so to speak. Kelly, you're not an officer, but you are an officer of the court. You prosecute crimes. You committed a crime, Kelly Martinez. You directed somebody in your office to commit a crime because you didn't like the fact that Lisa Hansen was disobeying your power. You are a hypocrite of the first rank. And you should be, at the very least, charged and convicted of this crime, according to the Minnesota State Statutes. Clear crimes. You literally endangered the lives of, one, the 3 people that were in the office who you were trying to get rid of. 2, anybody who could have been harmed while law enforcement was en route to the building, responding to a panic alarm. Can you imagine, Kelly Martinez, the guilt that would be on your hands as if one of those officers was going through a blind intersection or through a stoplight metered intersection and somebody didn't notice and they came barreling through that intersection because they have to in that situation, and they had creamed that vehicle that was coming through that intersection and took out an entire family in a minivan. Who would you try to lay the blame on that? You would try and blame Lisa Hansen, wouldn't you, Kelly Martinez? Why? Because you're a petty little tyrant, lady. You broke the law. And no one's going to prosecute you because you think you did it in good faith. You didn't do that in good faith. You know for a fact there was no threat there. You were not terrified. And I don't care how much you try to AOC this. I don't care how many pages and how many pointers you take from Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett-Cortez and try to fake that you're the victim here. Your own fellow staff member, Lisa Williamson, had no terror, no fear of Lisa Hansen when she opened up the window to talk without a mask on. She had no fear of her own safety and her health when she went back and talked to you for well over 5 minutes or more without her mask on. And it was only when Lisa said she was calling law enforcement that you gave a direction. Lisa was going to call in a very civil, non-emergency way. You wanted to beat her to the punch. You wanted to make yourself out to look like you were the victim. So you broke the law. You broke the law. And it wasn't an accident. Credit to the officer who said, well, somebody may have accidentally pushed the panic alarm. No. You broke the law intentionally, Kelly Martinez. There was no threat there. And you being upset doesn't justify it. The county attorney of Freeborn County should be prosecuting you for this. And I want to know why it hasn't happened yet. This should be all over the news. Every single news agency should be pointing this out, but they won't because they're terrified of you and they're shills for your agenda. Somebody needs to get a hold of this and get this out there. You are a tyrant. And I personally have no power, but I am not letting this go until you answer for this. You need to answer for this publicly. You need to apologize to the Albert Lee PD. You need to apologize to the Freeborn County Sheriff's Office. You need to apologize to Lisa Hanson and her son and her personal assistant. And you need to apologize to the citizens of Albert Lee and to Freeborn County for, one, wasting taxpayer dollars by pushing that button. Two, for endangering every single life of every single person that was between the city hall and the city attorney's office and the officers that were responding. That's sheer negligence. And you know for a fact that if you caught wind of someone in your community violating this law, you would charge them. They would be charged. You know they would be charged under the law for this. So Kelly Martinez, you need to be charged. The Albert Lee city attorney violated the law, and the Freeborn County prosecuting attorney needs to prosecute Kelly Martinez for this. And add Lisa Williamson in on the charges because she was part of it. This is not some radical call. This is exactly why no one respects anybody in any position of authority anymore, because they get away with crap like this and then get to call it an excuse and get people to cover up for them. Someone needs to expose this. You petty, pathetic little tyrant. You need to be removed from your office. Sic Semper Tyrannis.